The more it feels like things change, the more they stay the same. A few months ago, the future of Messi was in question. And while it still is, I feel like Culés know that Messi will leave on his and the fans' terms, instead of feeling like he was pushed out by Bartomeu. Because I think today was a bit of a reminder that Messi was around before Bartomeu, and he's still around after him. On the field, he's actually been around longer than anyone except for one player, and that'll change this weekend. With this match, Messi ties Xavi with 767 appearances for Barcelona. And he also picked up the February La Liga Player of the Month to remind you that he's still doing it at a top level, month in and month out. The narrative of this whole match, from start to finish, was about Lionel Messi. So before we get to his goals and all the fun stuff, let's go over the lineup. Not much to say about it. It was the same one as PSG, but not having to worry about Kylian Mbappe. But interestingly enough, there was actually more space for Huesca on the wings today than there was for PSG last week. I know they're probably going to be relegated, but this is a scrappy team that I wouldn't mind seeing in La Liga again. They today were playing in a 3-5-2, but really because of how defensive it was a 5-3-2 for most of the match. Early on, it actually looked like Barcelona were the ones who were going to have the lion's share of opportunities on the wings. Lenglet, the left winger, apparently I guess he could fill in for Dembele later on. He comes forward in the first 5 minutes, take the space they give you, Lenglet, and even though he didn't get a wonder goal or anything like that, it showed that this game was going to be open when it was allowed to be. Dest gets the first Barca shot of the game in the 10th minute, as Barca did have to be patient to break down their opposition. Messi makes a dummy run, and Dest tries it from long range. 13th minute, though, the story of this game begins to take form. Messi gonna Messi. Was he out of form earlier in the season? No, Messi's never out of form. But at this point, he's now averaging 8 goals in every 10 games. The setup, getting past Polito, then pushing the pass to himself in the amount of space to freeze the next defender by putting the ball close enough where he's lunged forward, but not close enough to step to it, or Messi would go around him. The way he manufactured the shooting space was spectacular. Then the goal itself was just above spectacular, hitting the bottom of the crossbar with power and staying in. The only player in La Liga history with 20 league goals in 13 consecutive seasons, top corner pocket Messi, nobody does it better. A few minutes later, he was shaken up a bit, but as Monty Python said, 'twas merely a flesh wound, and he continued on. He was also a yellow away from missing the match on the weekend against Real Sociedad, and fortunately, he stayed out of the book in that category. Huesca, to their credit, did complete 20 passes in the opening 19 minutes, and that's a little bit of jest, but they did turn it around after that moment, and they were better afterwards. Pablo Maffeo forced Ter Stegen to make a save right after the Messi goal, and then the match did cool off a bit. Again, credit to Huesca and being more defensively sound and getting the rotations correct. Messi did feed Alba, who slammed it off the crossbar when Barca could have gone 2 up. Huesca actually doing better tracking Griezmann than PSG did as well. As I had mentioned against PSG, this formation has Messi dropping in and immediately finding Griezmann on the turn. Griezmann wasn't finding that space as often against Huesca, and Messi was pushing forward a bit more, so Griezmann adapted. Instead of Messi, Pedri received, and because Messi was making a run into the half space, defenders were finally pulled away for Griezmann to receive in between the lines. Then Griezmann turned and did his best Messi imitation, a screamer for the Frenchman in the exact location that Messi scored a few minutes earlier. And this is where Koeman continued to get it right. Huesca did improve, but due to what we can all admit was superior individual talent for Barcelona, adjustments were able to be made, including Frenkie de Jong switching with Busquets for certain moments during a string of Barca possession, almost scores a goal himself with that run into the box. Huesca had it covered though, but it still almost went in if not for the crossbar. Before halftime though, Ter Stegen, who's been really good recently, fouls Mir as he tried to get to the spot. Dest didn't foul him, but Ter Stegen had his left arm out for Mir to trip over. It was a soft penalty for sure, and the discord going on is rightfully so, that if referees are going to call these soft penalties, it opens up the opportunity for games like this to get completely out of hand. And I don't mean the one against Huesca, but I mean for players to continue to simulate and continue to go down. And if this ups the ante on what a soft penalty is, it's not a good sign for the Liga and football as a whole. For Mir, he did score, and it was his 8th goal of the season. And against PSG, while they did kind of bring VAR into it, this one was not the fault of VAR. This was all the center referee. He called the contact a penalty, but due to the contact, VAR wouldn't be overturning it. So the center referee says it's a penalty, and it's going to remain as such. So 2-1 at halftime felt a little nervy, but Barcelona put it away soon after in the second half. 53rd minute, Oscar Mingueza, first career goal for the first team. Maybe in celebration of his sister Ari's Barca Femení, call it maybe. Well, not exactly, but he gets the goal. Barca scored 2 out of every 60 off of corners, so it'd be fair if he took a little nap when Barca go to the corner flag. This one, like many others, is played short, and Messi sends it into the box, and Mingueza just outjumps everybody. And Huesca's zonal marking on the corner definitely lets them down. The header by Mingueza with the power and precision needed to beat Alvaro Fernandez. And like any academy product, I love to see what their first team goal means to them. Scoring for the boyhood club, I just wish he was in front of fans. Another assist for Messi, by the way. few minutes later, it should have been 3-2. A good cross in for Escriche should have put it home. He was wide open at the back post, but also looked like he was trying to dink it back across the goal because Rafa Mir, you want to talk about the misses, his was much, much worse, and this one should have been 3-2 at that moment. 63rd minute, Araujo gets an easy situation to find his legs after the injuries. De Jong, who was a yellow away from missing the match against Real Sociedad, just like Messi, he goes off. Because Frankie was playing the three at the back, it also didn't change anything formation-wise. For Frankie de Jong, pretty good day at the office, 100% passing accuracy, completing 83 out of his 83 passes, didn't have much to do and even got ahead, almost scored a goal in that first half. 68th minute, Trincao on for Griezmann and Ias Moriba on for Dest, which didn't really change the formation either. Pedri putting himself in between the lines like Griezmann, and Trincao taking Dest's spot on the right wing. I was interested to see the ways that Ias might be more passive defensively next to Busquets, because he usually comes in for Busquets, but I didn't really see that. Ias was still getting box to box and being the player that Koeman is asking him to be. Pedri was still also running all over the place, and Ias stuck to that left interior role, supporting Pedri as he cut down passing lanes. Even though the match felt out of reach at that point by Huesca, the wings was still a problem for Barca defensively. Javi Gailan was Huesca's best player and has been for the last few weeks, and he gave the Blaugrana maybe more trouble than Mbappe did actually. I do wonder if it had to do a little bit with the opponent, that Barca were getting a bit greedy with the number of bodies they were throwing forward, which is not the same number they put against PSG. So it's not great to see if they don't figure out how to, again, clamp down on those wings and stop those counterattacks. The first half of the season, counterattacks were an issue, individual mistakes were an issue. Defensively, the team has been much, much better in 2021 as the offense has improved as well. And I do hope this is an outlier match in the amount of space that the opponent had on the wings. 85th minute, a little Braithwaite and Ricky Puig late on for Dembele and Pedri. Those two aren't players that are going to be relied on to win the double, but I'm glad they got minutes more than I'm frustrated that they didn't get more. If you want to know what I thought of Pedri's performance as he came out for Puig, listen to any of the match reviews from the last 2 months. I'm actually going to take a break this week from complimenting Pedri in the same way I always do. 90th minute, Puig, who I don't need to say much about. He's been very good every time he's been on the field in the new year as well, just like his teammates. If this match had happened 3 days after PSG, I think he might have even started, but instead Koeman decided to keep his regulars and let them keep doing their thing and stay in full match fitness. Anyway, Puig with a little fake here and feint move starts to counter. Trincao right up the center with Huesca stretched, and Messi does the rest. A brace for Messi, and I'm going to say that of all of his career braces, this was a top 15 in that category. So when I say brace, I mean the matches in which he scored just 2 goals and didn't get that 3rd or 4th or 5th like he has in the past. Both goals today, really good for Messi. And more importantly for Messi, as we remind you that this day was really about him, the 767 appearances and all that, and the goals that he scored as well. He was also really efficient. In the 90 minutes he played, 124 touches, 2 of his 6 shots were on target. He had the 1 assist along with the 2 goals, 3 key passes, 87% passing accuracy, and he did complete 5 of his 6 dribbles and gave the ball away less than he usually does. Also exciting, and Messi does fit into this, Barca finished the match with 7 homegrown players, which did include Araujo since he spent time at Barca B. That, to me, is the mark of a club that never lost sight of what was happening in the academy, but now has the talented players and a situation that gives them minutes. I don't like needles, but you can inject that Mexican club right into my veins after this kind of match. And the last fun note about Barca playing on Mondays, you should have some confidence that Barca were going to win this match. They haven't lost on Monday since 1998, 4-3 against Valencia, but they've also only played 6 matches on Monday since that time. The last one was a 5-0 win against Villarreal back in 2011. But I think more importantly, the one before that was in November of 2010. That was the 5-0 against Real Madrid. So Mondays have been good to Barcelona in recent memory, at least in this century. But more important than winning on Mondays, Barca once again leap over Real Madrid for second in the table and are now just 4 points back of Atletico Madrid. The pressure continues to mount, not for Barca, who are playing for the title with the urgency of a team that knows they need to win everything and are probably expecting in the back of their head to finish this in second. This is still Atletico Madrid's title to lose. But unlike Atletico, who are surviving right now more than putting away their opponents for the points, Barca are clicking, and I think deserving of the victories that they're getting. We do have another podcast planned between now and Real Sociedad next week, so look out for that. And as always, until next time, Forza Barca.